Oh, thank y'all. Like I said, I wrote that song early. Something that happened with it was in 2023, that song, along with another song called The Golden Smile, made it into the Kerrville Folk Festival and got me into a finalist in the new folk thing. So I got to go to Kerrville, Texas, and be a part of the Kerrville Folk Festival. Kerrville Folk Festival is the longest running folk festival in the United States. And it started off as a bluegrass festival, so I felt good about it. I was like, all right, it started off good. I'll get there and fix it, But let's see here. So I'm going to move ahead a little ways. As I said before, I work for the Chattanooga Fire Department. I've been a captain in the Chattanooga Fire Department since 2009. I got hired in the early 2000s. I got hired about a year before September 11th, so it was still like it was kind of a crappy government job, and then all of a sudden it became something completely different. For a few years, it was a little bit wild. No kidding, y'all. This is after September 11th. They put me on top of the Ryans on Lee Highway, waving an American flag off this fire truck while they sang Lee Greenwood songs in the parking lot of the Ryans. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet. Yeah. It's a little post 9/11. That's what they don't tell you. That's the real hero stuff you gotta do. But this next song I'm going to talk about is called Age of Ben. I wrote this song a few years back. I put it on an album. I have a couple of releases out. If you passed by the weird suitcase in the thing, you probably saw a couple of them. The first album I did an album with a bluegrass band called Slim Pickens. And then in 2016, I put out an album called Songs from the Suck. Oh, thanks. And then a few years after that, I put out an EP called Moccasin Bender, which is what this is on. So there's a couple of points I'm going to talk about real fast, just so this has context. This song hits the parts that make this song cool to me, are the parts that really changed it. Actually changed this song helped change my writing and grow my writing, because I started really writing instead. I really first started off in just basically doing Jerry Garcia songs, and I'm telling stories. Oh, here's this story about this Adam and Rose. There's a Out on the Lamb. They're going crazy, right? But it's always other people. It's almost always make believe, and Age of Ben represents a change in that. So what happens is, this fella, he's laying in bed at night, he hears a rattle on the window, and he gets his handgun out and he goes and checks the doors. He doesn't see anybody, so he goes back to bed. Next morning he wakes up and he goes to work. And while he's gone at work, one of his children picks that handgun up and shoots the other one in the chest. And we ran that call. And then I ran that call for like 10 years. At night, every time I try to lay down and go to bed. And then there's this lady driving down the road. She's drunk. She got 4 or 5 kids in the car with her. Worst case scenario, she wrecks, displays kids all over the highway. And we don't even have medical equipment to deal with this. So we end up having to do mouth-to-mouth CPR on a 10-month-old infant. And I had a 10-month-old at home, right, when this happens. So I lived that call on my pillow for 10 years. I mean, a solid 10, just having a tough time sleeping. I really started to, started drinking kind of heavy and using alcohol as medication, because it's so much easier to pass out than it is to go to sleep. Just trust me, it's easier. And so these were, this is just how I was kind of coping. And was about this time that I hit this idea that maybe instead of writing songs about other things that don't happen, I can start writing about things that are happening around me. And that's what this song Age of Ben is about. It's about some things that happen around. It's really a story of about 5 different people and about a bunch of different situations. But that's where this song lands. Why I thought it was interesting. There's a couple things real quick that are just songwriting things. My youngest child, Charlie, who's 15 right now, would probably be really embarrassed to hear me say this, but when he was young, when he called out for his mama, he would go, "Mama, Mama." And he sounded so pathetic, and he breathed. It's like Vincent Price is in the crib, like, "Oh, Mama, Mama." He dialed drama in right away. He figured it out. We're like, "Oh, what's wrong? Oh, I'm so glad you're here." But one of the ideas of this song was trying to figure out a way to catch that desperate, it was just so heartbreaking when he would say it, because, after, it is like at first, it's heartbreaking at first, after you heard it 100 times, you're like, yeah, I got your mama. All right. Sorry. So there we go. This is called Age of Ben. Melissa had a baby when she was 17, but the state took him away because his blood wasn't clean. She named him Perry, but they changed it to Ben, and she never saw the face of that boy again. She was sent to rehab by the 3rd Circuit Court, but that place was a sieve, and it was easy to score. Well, she punched some lady over a cribbage win, and they shipped her off to Kansas to a federal pen. Ben was born in April, he was adopted in May by some California ministers that took him out of state. But nobody mentioned that he came with a glitch, that you could cover him in aloe, that he was born with the itch. And there were nights, felt like years, where he's calling for his mama. Put him on the street when he was 15 years old, and led from Irvine then to Dallas, Atlanta, and Orlando. And he tried his best to find a way to fit in, but nobody gave a damn about what happened to him. And there were nights that felt like years, where he's calling for his mama. See, Bennett always felt like he was missing a piece, a puzzle with a hole, an axle without grease, until he found the needle, and that started the end of a short, sad story called The Age of Ben. And there were nights, felt like years, where he's calling for his mama. So goodbye, little Perry, and good night, little Ben. I hope you found what you were looking for in that opium. But I suspect it's just the same old tale. And P.S. goodbye to Melissa, I hope you're burning in hell. Sorry, dude. That's Blue's eardrums out back there. All right, I'm going to make this real short. All right, the next song I'm going to tell you about is a brand new song that got released today. And it's... Oh, thanks. It's called The Extra Mile is a Gravel Road. And I wrote it just this past year. Had a lot happen in the last year. Had a, really, I say year, but it's really more like 2. Had a close friend pass away. Had getting ready to retire from my job. And yeah, that's, that guy is with me. This is my driver, my designated driver tonight. But yeah, so a lot happened, and I'm not going to go through the whole story. I'm just going to say this. There's a lot happened. And this song really came about, the thing that is impactful, the thing that changed for me when writing this song was I just took a step forward out of that, say and write stuff that's happening around me and say, this is actually going to be a song that it's about me, which is really harder to do. It's really hard to do when you put it off for a long time. You know what I mean? When you're like, I'm going to write a song about myself next year. And then you do that for like a decade or, or so. So this is, but, as you get older and you start going through things, I started realizing that the more I was writing this stuff down, the less I had to live in here. And so I think that's one of the things that I really picked up on songwriting. It's constantly changing. I've been writing songs since I was 14 years old, and it constantly changes. I go through phases where I'm like, these are the rules, and I go through phases where I'm like, rules are stupid. And then I go through phases where I'm writing for other people, and then I go through phases where I'm in right now where I'm really writing for myself, which is great to do. If you ever get a chance to do that, where you don't think about, I'm not going to show this song to anybody, I'm just going to write it for myself. That's a good thing. It's really freeing. So this one wasn't. This was about an argument that I had with my wife that kind of got this thing started. And it was no worries. It was a miscommunication. We've been married for a long time, so we learned how to work things out with my therapist, Nancy. She helps. But I was a little nervous to show her this song. Because it was pretty close to the end of that argument, so I waited till she got in the bathtub. Kind of sneaking her out in the corner with a banjo. And she liked it, so I kept it. So here you go. This is called The Extra Mile is a Gravel Road. Am I settled in my lane? Is my bucket overfilled? Have these years just gone to waste? Is this a calling? Is there even such a thing? Is this wool over my eyes? Who pulled it? Was it me? Are you applauding? The extra mile is a gravel road. When I do this all again, is my foot glued to the floor, where the ditch is the best part of the weekends? Will a failure on my name? Is that all just in my head? If I lose these last few teeth, what's left to kick in? The extra mile is a gravel road. You don't hear my voice see my shadows. I know the wind's the boredom breath, the death's the battles. Why I'm in armor on the beach to challenge the ocean wave by wave. You feel this way as well. I listen when you sing. You hear it when I'm breathing at the wall. Am I settled in my lane? Has my bucket overfilled? Have these years just gone to waste? Is that the calling? The extra mile is a gravel road. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Randy. Thank you. Y'all, it's been such a good time. This has been great.